confirming here to make sure, yep, everything is going. Alrighty, so I am Jamila McMallow, life and relationship strategist for powerful driven women coaches and entrepreneurs. If you are new here to the group, I want to welcome you. And for those of you who are longtime members, very good to see you here. As you know, I'm the creator of the Prosperous Wife Mastermind, and I am also a phenomenal one-on-one coach for the woman who prefers to move to her next level in private. Okay. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about healing and shifting beliefs. What is the difference, right? We hear these terms thrown around a lot, especially if you're a coach or you're in the coaching industry or you're an entrepreneur, who has worked, with coaches and things like that. So basically healing has to do with the wound that was experienced in childhood, whatever that trauma was, whatever that painful experience was that happened. Healing has to do with that wound. Okay, the beliefs are the story that you told yourself about that wound, why it happened, and what that meant about you, the world, and other relationships. Okay, so that's the correlation, but they are different. And so when you hear someone talking about doing their healing work, shifting their beliefs in separate capacities, they go hand in hand. So if you're going to consider yourself to be fully healed from something, then you're going to have had to have shifted your beliefs about whatever it was. And in order to shift your beliefs, you've got to heal the original wound that those beliefs are linked to. Okay. So for those of you that, I know you're already very familiar with limiting beliefs, but I'll just give a real short definition for maybe ones who are not as familiar. But basically, if you just consider yourself like a computer, and you have programs running on your computer that tell it what to do, what's true, what's not, the same is true for us in our minds. We have a set of programs or beliefs that are running in the background telling us who we're allowed to be, what we're allowed to have, what's true about marriage, what's true about men, what's true about money, what's true about ourselves as women. And that's the construct that we function out of. And we will never do anything beyond our beliefs, because if we just so happen to step out of them, we'll be snatched back immediately. And so it's just really this, it's something that has to be addressed if you truly want to be able to move to your next level. And so in order to shift the belief, like I said, you have to deal with the original wound. And this is really my secret sauce, my sweet spot for how I help my clients, because I really, 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 really love to walk women through this, because this is where the breakthrough happens. This is where the work gets done. And it's not something that has to take all these years sitting around on somebody's couch just going on and on about your problems. Absolutely not. In fact, I'm just going to let you know right now, all of my clients, okay, have been in therapy or counseling at some point. And that's not a jab, okay, at that, because though, that includes different kinds of modalities and things like that. But what I'm saying to you is that to really get to the heart of a matter, to really get to the underlying issue and the root and the belief, and to get it out, you have to be a certain kind of way. Your mind has to work a certain way. You have to be a certain kind of person to where when you are faced with an obstacle or a challenge or something that you view as a barrier to you getting to where you want to go, you're like, let's do it. I'm ready. Those are the types of women that I work with, because my process works extremely well with them, because their minds are like, yes, and tell me more. And that's not to say that it's not difficult to face these painful memories or things like that. It is, but they get that. And they're like, no problem. We just keep moving forward. We move through it. And of course, when I work with my clients one-on-one, it's premium unlimited coaching, which means you have unlimited access to me using an app called Viber. And that's one of the biggest pieces that's missing for powerful, driven like us is, that support, just knowing someone's going to be there for us, because we're so busy being there for everybody else. So when you are working through a healing process or trying to shift a belief, the first thing that has to be done is you've got to get to the bottom of it. That means, let's say, for example, your father left when you were a little girl. He abandoned the family. Okay, so that's the wound. That was a moment in which the person that you were up until that point changed. Okay. And let's say it was about, maybe you were 4 or 5 years old. You changed now the way that you saw yourself, the way that you saw men, and what you believed to be true and possible for you. Because clearly, if your own father could walk out and abandon the family, and then let's say after that you have no relationship with them, well, then what does that say about you? Well, now here we come into the beliefs, the story. This is what you start to tell yourself is, I must not be lovable, or I must not be worthy, or there must be something wrong with me, or men leave. You can't trust men because maybe before he left, he was a cheater or an abuser. So you have developed a set of beliefs, or because as a kid, you're just trying to make sense of adult things. Okay. And so you develop very black and white points of view on things in order to explain it to yourself, because you're just trying to make some sense of it. Right. But that's how it starts. So you have the traumatic event. Then the story you tell yourself about it creates the beliefs that you begin to form, or that are really just formed, about yourself, about men, about marriage, about money, about life, about whatever, depending on what that event was. Now your mind says, aha, this is the programs, these are the facts, this is how life works. Now your mind is this amazing thing that's really in the habit of proving you right. So what happens? You go out into the world and you find yourself dealing with men who tend to be unreliable, who leave or are emotionally unavailable. Or if you grew up and had some traumatic experience, like maybe you grew up with a lot of messaging, negative messaging around money, that rich people were bad or whatever. And so you grew up and now you get money and you're like, oh my goodness. And then it's gone. And it's because your belief system is telling you, if you have money, you're bad. So even though you get it, you have to get rid of it. Or even if you have it, you can't be buying nothing expensive. People might think you have money. And remember, having money is bad. So that's just kind of a couple of examples there for you to understand how your mind is working and what's actually happening. So the original wound has to be uncovered. So what happened? So that's what I do, because I'm empathic, and so I'm able to feel what my clients are feeling. And so we just kind of go there. Okay, I have exercises that I walk my clients through, but we go to those moments, okay? And they don't have to tell me the whole story and give me all the gory details. And in fact, in some of the exercises, they themselves are going to these stories, okay? Or memories, I should say, and then connecting with the emotion. You have to go back and connect with the emotion of it. See, a lot of times we can remember something that happened to us that was very painful. But when we start to feel the emotions come up, our eyes start to fill with water. We push it back down and we go, no, 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 I'm not doing that right now. Or no, 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 and we call ourselves, I've gotten over that. Or I don't like to dwell on things that are negative. Garbage, hogwash, and a pot full of false lies and stuff that's just not helping you. That junk is sitting right on the front lines of your life, right on the front lines of your mind, right on the front lines of your choices and decisions, and everything that you see reflected in your life is all of that stuff that you claim you got over, or you claim you don't want to, I don't want to think about that. No, no, no. You're thinking about it subconsciously because it's running what's going on in the background. And you will see that when you consciously, you might want certain things. Like, let's say, for example, like, oh, I want a healthy relationship, or I want a healthy, marriage. And then you get it and you're in it and you're struggling because you feel weird, strange, or like, I don't know. And it's because it's going against what your mind is telling you is true, which is that, let's say, men are unreliable or they're untrustworthy or whatever. And so it's not jiving with your reality, where your mind is trying to prove you right. So there you are, creating drama, creating problems, et cetera, et cetera. And so the point is you have to go back to the story, or the wound, I should say, the memory, pull up the emotions and connect to the emotions and allow the emotions to come up and out. Now, this is the part where it can be a little scary, because it can feel like it's unknown. And your mind is just simply trying to protect you from what it perceives as pain, okay? And of course, those feelings are feelings of sadness, okay, or feelings of hurt. And so, yes, it is pain. However, you are not fully and completely reliving the experience in real time. You know what I'm saying? You're only allowing those trapped feelings to come up and out. They're nothing to be afraid of. They're just old feelings that have been trying to get out for years, but you just keep stuffing them down and suffering because of it. And so the fact of the matter is that that's what has to be done, is you have to connect to the emotion and allow it to come up. And then now the space is created. Now, here's where it gets good, okay? Because now once the space opens up, that's when you now go through the process of inputting what it is that you now want to be true. What is the new belief that you now want to have? That's what you do in this moment. That's what I do with my clients in this moment, because you're wide open, okay? And you put that in. And then you have to give yourself time to process. And so I typically tell my clients, take 2 to 3 days, depending on how deep the wound was or whatever the exercise was, because now your mind has to kind of let it sink in. Okay. So now we've walked you through the healing part of the process, and we've walked you through the shifting the belief part of the process, but there's still a little bit to go, because you rest for 3 days or so and allow your mind to process and to sift through what's been done and to kind of reorganize and get back into place. And now healing, as you know, a wound, everyday time allows it to completely cover over. So once the emotions are released, the pain is, it's not like a cut, right? It's once you really get the emotion out, it's gone. It doesn't come back. It's gone. And so now the way you'll know that you're healed is, and let me tell you this, you need to wait until your mind is fully processed. And then once you processed, if you go back and think about the memory, you will view it like from the position of an observer. You will no longer be able to connect with the feelings and feel the pain of that moment anymore. When that's the case, now you know you've healed that. That wound is no longer a factor in how you're now functioning out of your belief system. And now once you've given yourself some time to process, now what you do is you have to anchor in those new beliefs. And that happens through repetition. And one of the things that I help my clients craft personally one-on-one is their affirmations. Now, this process, this affirmations, are so critical to this process, because it's what's sinking in. It's what's helping it to sink in. But what's really exciting is the more you do this process, the more layers you peel back, the faster you get at it, the faster your brain accepts, or the faster your mind accepts your new beliefs. And it's not like churning over old hardened dirt, right? If you're just out the bat calling yourself trying to say some positive affirmations and you've done absolutely no deep healing work, you may get some benefit, but it's really not going to be substantial, because you're not really targeting the underlying belief system. You're not getting to the heart of the matter. You're not getting to the root of it. And that's what's necessary in order to create long-term sustainable change. My clients are forever shifted. They're not the person they were before we started working together. It's not possible anymore, because where they were when they came to me, those stories, those feelings, those emotions, they're gone. That's just how it works. And then from that point, you're doing your positive affirmations. You have your daily mindset routine. You're doing the things that are anchoring in your new way of thinking, your new way of being. Okay. And so that's how it works. That's how healing and shifting your beliefs, that's how they're different, because they're not the same, but this is how they work together. They're a part of the same process, but you have to go through and deal with both. The healing portion, the reason why, and let me just say this, because I've also had clients that have come to me and they've done maybe some other type of healing work or whatever, but they're still talking about the same stuff, or they talk about it and they still get emotional. If you still get emotional and you still feel the feelings as if it's happening right now, or if it just happened yesterday, you're not done. You didn't do it. You didn't get to the bottom of it. Okay. You did not get to the root of it. And I'm not just telling you this from what I have experienced with my clients and seen through their processes, but I'm telling you this from my own personal experience, because I am my first and best testimonial and client. And granted, I don't do all my work on my own. I do have my coaches and wellness energy therapists and things that I reach out to help me move blocks when I can't do it, using the tools that I use to help my clients, because of course, we do need help. We need expert help when we're doing these things. But this is the process of healing and shifting your beliefs, and why they are both a part of the process of moving to your next level. Okay. So if anything about what I've said today landed with you, if it resonated with you, if you're like, oh man, that's what I need, or that's what I want, or that's what I'm looking for, I want to tell you, don't be afraid of it. Okay. And my clients are not afraid of it. They're just ready to be done with it. They want to move forward. And that's not to say that they have a cavalier attitude about how difficult it can be to face painful experiences. Absolutely not. All of my clients, resistance comes up. Resistance always comes up. And I know exactly what to say and do to help them move through that. Again, that's the reason why we work with experts to help us get past the places that we can't get, through on our own. So if anything about that, like I said, landed with you, if you appreciated this discussion, please comment below. And also what I'll do is I'll drop a link below for you to book a call with me. We can have a brief 20-minute conversation to talk about maybe what's going on and what solutions I provide to see if there's a good fit there. And then also, again, I would be curious to know what your thoughts were on what I had to say. I'm always curious about feedback. So again, feel free to drop those comments below if you have a thought there. And I just want to thank you for tuning in, whether you're listening in live or you're listening to the replay. All right. So that's just the message I had for you today. You ladies take care, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.